All right, we're going to look at some right triangle trig. So we're going to look at examples 7 to 10 here. So this is actually not right triangle, it's special trigonometric value of angles. So this is the 30, 60, 90, and 45, 45, 90 right triangles. If you saw Mrs. Rondo's in my lessons last year, she's got a whole thing. I tend to be very formulaic on it. So on a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, and that's one that has a 30-degree angle, a 60-degree angle, and a 90-degree angle. So we're going to name the legs a little bit differently. Across from the 30 is what I call the short leg. Across from the 60 is the long leg, and this is still the hypotenuse. So I know that the long equals the hypotenuse times square root of 3. And then I know that the short, nope, I am totally wrong. Having issues this morning, equals the short times square root of 3. And then the hypotenuse equals the short times 2. Okay, and then in a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, notice the legs are the same. So this is just a leg, and this is just a leg, and then this is the hypotenuse. So we know that a hypotenuse equals a leg times square root of 2. And we're actually going to be using these triangles in this particular instance here quite a bit when we get into our unit circle here in a couple of days. So I am just going to try to find these ratios based on these triangles. So my 30-degree angle is here. So my opposite for tangent would be 1 over the adjacent, which would be square root of 3. So I'd have 1 over square root of 3, or when I rationalize it, I get square root of 3 over 3. On the 45-degree, so I have here, I've got my cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So 1 over square root of 2. And then when I rationalize it, I get square root of 2 over 2. And then on the 60, which is now down here at the bottom, I have my sine. So sine is opposite square root of 3 over hypotenuse 2. And then my cotangent of 30. So we're going back to 30. Cotangent is cow. So it's the adjacent. So the square root of 3 over the opposite, which is 1. Or I could just write square root of 3. My secant, I'm going back to the 45. Secant is sha. So hypotenuse, which is square root of 2, over the adjacent, which is 1, or just square root of 2. And then I'm going back to the 60 here. For cosecant is cho. So my hypotenuse is 2, and my opposite is square root of 3, so I would need to rationalize that. So I get 2 square root of 3 over 3. All right, so I'm going to use these formulas over here to solve these problems. So we have to solve for values of x and y. So right now I've got 30. I'm going to label it right to begin with. I know that this is my 30 this is the short, this is the long, and this is the hypotenuse. So I know I need the long leg, but I don't have the short leg. I only have the hypotenuse. So I'm going to have to find my short leg first. So I know the hypotenuse equals the short, which is a question mark right now, times 2. So I divide by 2, and I get 4. So I know that the short leg is 4, which means my long leg, x, equals my short leg times square root of 3. All right, in a 45, 45 degree, 45, 45, 90, I know that the hypotenuse, 6, equals the leg, x, times square root of 2. So I'm going to move the square root of 2 over by dividing. And again, the textbook or the problems are probably not going to like it unrationalized. So I'm going to go ahead and rationalize. So I got 6 square root of 2 over 2. They will also probably simplify the fraction, so they would say that that is 3 square root of 2 equals x. Okay, this time across from the 60 is the long, meaning next to it has to be the short, and this still has to be the hypotenuse. So they gave me the long leg. So the long leg equals the short leg times 2. Nope, not times 2, Mrs. Ballard. Times square root of 3. So I'm going to divide by square root of 3. And then I'm going to rationalize it to get that radical out of the denominator. So I've got 4 square root of 3 over 3 equals x. To get y, I know y is the hypotenuse. So I've got the hypotenuse equals the short leg, which is now this mess, times 2. So I would multiply the 2 with the 4 because I can't multiply it into the radical. That's against the rules. Okay. One more here. So the across from the 30 is the short, and then this would be across from the 60, so that's the long, and this is the hypotenuse. So I'm given the hypotenuse, I'm going to start there. The hypotenuse equals the short y times square root of 3. And how nice is this? I'm just going to divide that over, look at what happens. They get to cancel, so I know that my short leg is just 2. Then I know my long leg, I was totally wrong. Don't write that down and erase it. I looked at the square root of 3 and I mixed up my formulas. I should not be doing this early in the morning. All right, so my hypotenuse equals my short leg times 2. So I'm going to divide by 2. I still get to get rid of stuff. So I know that my short leg is square root of 3. My long leg x is square root of 3. That's the short leg times square root of 3, which is just going to be 3 in this case.